This isn't a headline about faster phones or smarter fridges. This is a nationally declared state of emergency. In the last 72 hours, South Korea, the country that built the global memory chip empire, just detonated a trillion-won bomb under the AI world order. They are not just building a better chip. They are attempting a hostile takeover of the on-device AI revolution. And if they succeed, they don't just beat Silicon Valley. They render the American cloud monopoly irrelevant. The trigger event started on February 11, 2026. While the world was watching Meta announce another $100 billion data center, South Korea's Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy quietly dropped a manifesto. They are launching a 1 trillion won, that's roughly 690 million USD project starting next month to do something that experts said was a decade away. They are mass-producing 10 distinct types of AI chips specifically designed for on-device use. We are talking about the semiconductors that will power the brains of self-driving cars from Hyundai, robots from Rainbow Robotics, and smart appliances from LG that don't need to phone home to the cloud. This isn't a research paper. This is a production order. The numbers. Let's get the scale right, because the headline number is actually a decoy. The government is putting in seed money, but this is a public-private alliance of 1,000 companies. This is Samsung, SK Hynix, and Hyundai moving in lockstep. They have a simple, terrifying goal: to create the physical substrate for the edge AI market. A market that analysts project will swallow the cloud-centric AI model we use today. While Meta is spending over $100 billion on a single data center in Indiana that consumes a gigawatt of power, South Korea is betting that the real compute war will be won in the palm of your hand and the brain of your car. They are compressing a decade of foundry innovation into a 5-year sprint. The compression, what takes 10 years, is happening in 2. The old playbook was simple. America designs the chips, Taiwan fabricates the leading edge, and Korea floods the market with the memory. That model is dead. The trigger for this panic? The realization that AI inference, the using part of AI, cannot survive in the cloud. The latency is too high, the energy cost is crippling, and the data privacy laws are fragmenting the internet. The Department of Justice just implemented new, bulk data transfer rules that make it a national security risk to send American data to countries of concern. If your AI fridge has to ask for permission from a server in Virginia, every time you open it, you have a national security incident waiting to happen. Korea is compressing the supply chain to put the intelligence inside the device. The why here is the strategic logic that connects Seoul to Washington to Beijing. The US is trying to lock down the cloud. Nvidia owns the training racks. OpenAI and Anthropic, now valued at a staggering $380 billion, own the intelligence layer. But South Korea looks at that and sees a trap. They don't own the software, so they are going to own the physical execution layer. They are reducing technological dependence on foreign AI chip makers. That S diplomatic language for, we are building an escape pod from the American AI stack. They saw the US restrict chip exports. They saw the CHIPS Act funnel money to Arizona. They realized that if they don't control the on-device AI brain, their $400 billion auto and electronics industry becomes a contract manufacturer for Cupertino and Redmond. Winner versus loser frame. Let's be definitive. The winner is the Korean manufacturing axis. Samsung and Hyundai just became AI companies overnight, not just component suppliers. The winners are the fabless chip startups in Korea, who suddenly have access to government-backed foundries to test their designs. They just got a direct pipeline to the biggest consumer electronics companies on Earth. The loser? Nvidia. If AI inference moves to the device, the need for the $30,000 H100 rack to handle a simple query vanishes. The losers are the hyperscale cloud providers, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, who built their trillion-dollar businesses on renting out compute for everything. If your phone can run a 100 billion parameter model natively, why are you paying a monthly subscription to a cloud AI? The losers are the incumbent Western chip designers who thought the high-end was safe. Korea is coming for the high-end logic, not just the memory. The hidden consequence here is what most analysts are missing. This isn't just an industrial policy, it's a sovereignty grab. Look at the participants. Hyundai and Samsung aren't just making chips, they are making humanoid robots. The convergence of AI, robotics, and national security is happening on the Korean peninsula. If a Korean robot operates in a German factory, its brain, the chip that makes the decisions, will be Korean. The data will stay local, processed on the edge. This is the sovereign AI movement that leaders from Singapore to Egypt are rushing towards. South Korea is building the hardware architecture for a post-American internet. The US controls the cloud. Korea is positioning itself to control the edge. It's a parallel infrastructure. Forward signal. If this trend continues, watch the foundry utilization rates at TSMC. Watch the earnings calls of Nvidia's automotive division. But the real signal to monitor is the software. Can Samsung build an operating system for these chips that developers actually want to code for? Mistral AI just dropped 12 billion euros into Sweden for infrastructure. Europe and Asia are building walls. The signal is clear. The homogeneous global AI stack controlled by America is fracturing into regional blocks, and Korea just laid the cornerstone for the Asian bloc. The next iPhone might not have an Apple-designed brain. It might have a Korean brain that refuses to talk to the American cloud.